Hey guys, today I want to talk about Terminator kits on your downrigger cable. Depending on where you fish, you're going to lose downrigger balls. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we do a lot of fishing on the bottom for blackmouth, and you get caught up on a crab trap that's been lost or something else, and the downrigger ball comes off, your cable breaks, and so you're going to have to re-rig. The first thing I would suggest is that you carry in your boat at all times a Terminator kit. Cannon has a great Terminator kit. Inside here it comes with 6 of each. You've got your super cushion cartridge, you've got a Cannon Terminator, and then of course you have the snap swivel. So pulling those items out, we have them on the table, and that's what we're going to be rigging today. So I do want to caution you that when you retrieve your cable up, it's really important that you inspect the cable. If you've got any kind of fraying, you're going to want to use a set of good dikes and cut that clean, okay? You should also be taking a look at probably the top 15, 20 feet of that cable. Just make sure there's no other spots where some cable has broken or frayed. If it has, go all the way to that point, cut it off clean, okay? And then you're gonna re-rig. So I'm gonna show you close-up video here of the rigging process. I'd like to point out that depending on where your downrigger is positioned, try to work on your Terminator in the middle of the boat. That means you may need to pull off, you might pull 10 or 15 feet of cable off the downrigger to you so that you can rig this thing. Now, if you are like I am and you use a retro ease weight retriever, then it's going to be important that before you rig your Terminator kit, that you slide that back onto the cable so that you don't have to take this apart later to put it back on the cable, right? And you're not wasting a Terminator kit. So make sure you get your retro ease slid onto that cable first. So let's dive into what it looks like to rig these. It's very simple. I can typically rig one, if I'm not talking you through it, in about a minute. So it lets you get right back on the water. And that said, make sure that you have extra cannonballs in your boat, just in case you lose one, you're back to fishing. So let's dive into rigging this Terminator kit. Okay guys, so we're getting ready to rig our Terminator kit. I've got my wire in my hand. The first thing we need to do is take this boot and slide it onto your cable, okay? And we'll get back to what that does in a minute, but that needs to go on first. Then what we need to do is we need to take this swivel assembly and we need to get it on to here. It's a little tight. Just press that on. This is what you need to have in your hand before you start rigging your downrigger cable into the Terminator kit, okay? All right, so now that we have that, I would like to point out there's 3 channels on the inside of this, okay? There's a start, a turn, and a finish. The finish is in the middle. Also, you'll notice on this Terminator, there's a swivel point here, right? This is the lid to close down on the Terminator kit, right? So when we're rigging this, we don't need to worry about anything here because this is the business end of everything. So I'm going to start my cable on the right side. I'm going to find the hole furthest to the right. You can see there's the wire. Okay, it's in the first channel. And I want to press that wire through and go through the end of the Terminator kit right there. Okay, so I've gone through that channel. Now pull out about 8 to 10 inches of cable, and we want to go around this loop, but we want to go inside that barrel, the loop of that barrel swivel. Okay, so it should be like this. It's on the inside of that barrel, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to come down the second turn, which is on the far left side. You're going to find that, and you're going to press it, and you want to go all the way through to the back. As soon as I get that in there, sometimes it's a little finicky finding that hole. Okay, we found it. So on the back side, you'll notice this cable is coming out in a channel adjacent to where I first went in. Now, I don't want to tighten this all the way down. I want to leave a loop up in here. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center channel between these two, and I'm going to come into the last pass. So here you can see the cable in the middle channel, and you don't need to press it all the way through. If you press too far, you'll push through the plastic. You'll end up in here. It's not a game changer, but you don't need to do that. So we just want to get to about the end. And as we press on that, keep my thumb to hold that cable down. I'm going to start pushing cable back the way I came, because what I'm doing is I'm now tightening up the whole assembly. Okay, so I've pressed it about as far as I can go. I'm going to keep my thumb on the back side here, and I'm going to press as I pull this through and tension up. Now it did push through a little bit. It's not a game changer. It's fine. So now I've gotten this tight. I'm now going to pull back from where I started and cinch that cable down. And there's little grooves here on this hook, and I want to make sure that I'm staying in those grooves. I've tightened that down, and that's tight. Okay, so this is the final assembly. Now it's time to close the lid. Sometimes you can press these and close them by hand, but oftentimes I suggest use a pair of needle nose or some pliers and just give it a good press. Press the other side. Now this assembly is closed. You can see it from the sides. Okay, now we want to find that boot, that rubber boot that we put on. And we're going to slide that boot up to the Terminator and press it on there. Okay, and that's what your final assembly should look like for a Terminator kit. Super easy to change out. Like I said, if I'm not talking you through it and I'm just changing it out, it probably takes me about a minute to re-rig my cable and get back to fishing. So as you can see, rigging a Terminator kit, it's simple. Just a couple reminders. Pull enough cable off from the downrigger. Sit in the center of the boat or maybe at your workstation in the boat so that things, if you drop something, it doesn't get lost. Absolutely 100% have a good Terminator kit on your boat. When it gets low on supply, just buy another one. They're very inexpensive. Again, this is completely rigged, and I've got a retro ease here. If you haven't used the retro ease, it makes it really easy to retrieve your cannonball weights at the end of the day, or anytime you want to pull them out of the water to maybe run to another location. Keeps you in the boat so that you don't fall out. So hopefully this information has been helpful to you. For more information about Cannon downriggers and the Terminator kits, visit cannondownriggers.com. And make sure you subscribe to our channel. We've got more great content coming out all the time. Thanks for watching.